The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros. Can Joe Joyce bounce back or is he finished? Now, he lost to Derek Chisora. He even got dropped. And someone asked Frank Warren, was this the end of Joe Joyce? And he gave a politically correct type of answer. He gave one in the ring post-fight, but he gave one even after during this interview. So we'll listen to what he had to say, and then we'll discuss it among ourselves. So let's listen to what Frank Warren had to say. This video appears courtesy of Box Nation. Subscribe to Box Nation.
Frank, considering the two brutal knockouts to Zhang, a loss to Derek tonight, getting put on the canvas, is that the end of the road for Joe Joyce?
No, he's got to sit down and look and see where it is. I mean, look, you know, we're talking to him. I don't want to be after a night like after tonight. I don't want to be telling anybody what they should do. It's going to be their decision. Like I always say, the fighters are the first to know when they should turn, but they're the last to admit it.
But of course, to get back in that big picture, it's going to be tough now for Joe.
Yeah, it is. But we didn't expect this type of fight. You know, it was just an amazing fight. Amazing fight.
You lost for words?
Yeah, I am. I mean, because you sit there and it's so. I mean, the whole night it's been like, God knows what it's like with the fighters in the ring. It drained everybody here. I mean, every fight was an epic fight.
We'll just leave it there. But you heard what he said. He said the fighters are the first to know when they should retire, but they're the last ones that actually want to do it. So, Trill Dollar Bill, what's your thoughts on Joe Joyce? Can he bounce back or is he finished? Should he hang up the gloves? And again, just to reiterate before I throw it to you, Dollar Bill, we don't tell anyone what to do. We realize it's your choice. It's the fighter's choice. We're just giving our opinion as to, based on what we've seen, do we think he should retire? Go ahead, Dollar Bill.
I think they swapped places last night. You know what I'm saying? Del Boy and Joe Joyce swapped places last night. Del Boy showed that, you know, he still got something left in that heart of his. You know what I'm saying? You know, he got a big heart. And that's all he showed us. And he showed us that he got a little bit more in that heart. Joe Joyce seemed like, you know how we was talking about Del Boy being the gatekeeper and stuff like that. It seems like Joe Joyce is gonna end up falling in that role. You know, it was only a matter of time. I used to say this back when we you know, and when we first started talking about, I say it's cool for right now, but that style ain't gonna last too long. You don't last that long in boxing when you use your face to block punches. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to last long in this sport of boxing. And we kept seeing people chipping away and just chipping away at that. I tell everybody that I listen, it started with Joseph Parker. Yeah, you won that fight. You know what I'm saying? You won the fight, but you lost the war. You won the fight, but you lost the war.
I just want to jump in quickly, bro. I throw it right back to you. This is an ad lib. We said that. I remember people killing us for it. Like we were idiots. Like we didn't know what we was talking about. Like, oh, how could it be? We were like, he punches Joseph Parker landed on this dude. Oh, and he wasn't hurt in the Joseph Parker fight. Blah blah blah. Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry. Go back to you, bro.
It's the truth, bro. Because he was landing flesh shots. He hit him with everything but the kitchen sink. And the same thing happened. Joseph Parker didn't train for conditioning because he was winning that fight and would have won that fight. He was hitting him with everything. He just got tired from punching him. And then Joe Joyce was able to catch him and get him out of there. It was fatigue that beat Parker, you know. And we seen the effects of it because we seen what happened when he got in the next fight. It was a wrap. You can't keep taking punches like that, you know, because eventually it's going to keep chipping away at that chin. We done seen it before. We done seen it over and over. Remember Carlos Baldomir, bro? Carlos Baldomir,
I do.
That chin.
Praise for that chin. Praise for the chin.
You know what I'm saying? Eventually, keep taking all the punches. Look what Canelo ended up doing, almost flatlining him, had him flat out on his face. Mm-hmm. It's only a matter of time fighting that style what's going to happen. I think maybe Joe Joyce got like maybe a couple fights in him to try to muster up as much money as he possibly can. Because I just think it's a wrap for that chin. It's too late to be learning how to do defense and stuff like that. Man, listen, try to get us a little bit more money being a gatekeeper, going there with these other guys. Maybe we could get in there with Gerald Anderson as a test, Rada season, Alex Sheik, throw some money in your way. You know, he'll go in there, braid your hair, throw you some bread, put you in there with Gerald Anderson. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I just think that now you're the gatekeeper, you know, and it's looking up for Del Boy. It's looking up for Del Boy, and it's looking like, oh man, a cautionary tale for you. They switched roles. They switched roles last night, my brother.
Yeah. Look, I think Joe Joyce was very interesting when he defeated Daniel Dubois, when he defeated Joseph Parker. But as we stated, when he fought Joseph Parker, took a lot of punishment, and that Joseph Parker took a chunk, his chunk of flesh, and that armor was pierced in that Joseph Parker fight. And people said we were crazy, but look at how both of them have performed moving forward. Joseph Parker has gone on to beat Jane, the man who sparked out. He sparked out Joe Joyce. Now look, we all know Jane can punch because he dropped Parker twice and he knocked out Deontay Wilder. But Joseph Parker had the skill set to get up twice, survive, and outbox him to win. That's the difference between Joseph Parker and Joe Joyce. Joseph Parker has a skill set, defense, athleticism, ability. We also saw Joseph Parker beat Deontay Wilder every round, was able to neutralize the right hand. Can we actually say that if you drop Deontay Wilder in the ring with Joe Joyce would be able to avoid the right hand of Deontay Wilder, which, by the way, I don't think it's the hardest right hand in the history of boxing, and I think time has proven that. But it's still a pretty good right hand. It's still a decent right hand, you know? And you saw that Chisora dropped him with an overhand right. One shot landed on the chin, overhand right. Now, of course, that was accumulation of punishment, but my point is Deontay Wilder is fast. Joyce versus Wilder is looking like a good fight that they could make on the undercard of one of those fights. And if I'm Deontay Wilder right now, I fancy that fight. Now, look, there's a lot of questions about Deontay Wilder because, in my personal opinion, Joe Joyce has better wins than Deontay Wilder, Daniel Dubois, and Joseph Parker. But here's the thing. You're lying if you're telling me the Joe Joyce you saw against Derek Ward Chisora was the same Joe Joyce you saw fighting Daniel Dubois. You're lying if you tell me that the Joe Joyce you saw last night was the same Joe Joyce you saw in the ring with Joseph Parker. Joe Joyce has had a lot chipped away from that armor. And it doesn't just take away from the chin, but it takes away from your ability. Your speed diminishes. Your footwork, everything. He's not the same guy he used to be. He was fighting around 250. Now he's fighting at around 280. That's a huge difference. He's a different guy. And so this is what I'm saying to the people. I like Joe Joyce, and I really wanted him to get a title shot. And when you look back at bad matchmaking, him taking that fight with Jane when he didn't have to was the result of bad matchmaking. And I just want to reiterate a point. I want to use this as an example to make a point. Prior to fighting Jane, Joe Joyce had beaten Daniel Dubois, who is currently IBF champion, about to fight Anthony Joshua. He had beaten Joseph Parker, who is currently in a good position now after beating Jane and Deontay Wilder. He stepped in the ring with Jane when he didn't have to. He already had the title shot lined up after beating two quality opponents. He got knocked out. Why? He fought the best back to back to back. This is what I've been trying to tell fighters. It's not that we want to see a cherry pick. I don't want to see a cherry pick. But when you are a fighter, you have to be mindful of the levels. You're fighting Daniel Dubois, Joseph Parker, and Jane back to back to back. Trill just talked about it, the wear and tear from the Daniel Dubois fight. Because don't forget, Dubois hit him with some stuff too now. Dubois is a hard puncher. Joseph Parker hit him with some stuff now. Joseph Parker's a good puncher. Then Jane might be the hardest puncher in the division. Low key, while everyone's sitting around talking about someone else. And Jane absolutely cracked him. 3 tough fights back to back to back. This is why I say you can't get mad at a fighter when they have 1 or 2 tough fights and then they want to take a contender or mediocre, medium level person just because they want to keep the tools sharp, but they don't want to take a certain risk because they want to give their body a chance to heal up. Joyce never really gave his body a chance to recover as someone who gets beat on. He uses his chin as defense. He waits for. He never gave his body a chance to recover, and as a result, he's been cracked, and he'll never be the same again. And that's my take on Joe Joyce. He needs to go after the bag, like Trill said, in these last few fights, because honestly, I don't ever see him regaining that status where he's the mandatory or he's the number 1 contender again. Unfortunately, he took on the best back to back to back, and this is a cautionary tale. You can take on the best back to back to back, but once you beat Dubois and once you beat Joseph Parker and you're mandatory, don't take on another killer until you get your shot at the title. And if people want to say you're ducking, they're not in the sport, and they never had a fight in their life. They never had to recover from even a sparring session. So why the hell are you listening to them?
Tell them how it is, my brother. Please like and subscribe. Check us out on Instagram and Twitter, and please check out our podcast on all major streaming services. I'm the Commissioner Trill Dollar Bill. That's my brother Caden, LLG for life, and we the Boxing Bros.